You're watching SKST Radio.
Well, welcome to another episode of SKST Radio, and you're tuned in to the Artist Network. And I have a special guest today. He goes by the name of Marvin Dexter Moore. He is number 8 on the charts, and I am so proud to have him here with me today. Welcome, Mr. Marvin.
Thank you for having me. I am elated, losing my mind.
How did you get to who you are and what you do?
Well, like you just said, my name is Marvin Dexter Moore. Wow, let's see, where do we start? Okay, born in Birmingham, Alabama, raised in a little town called Brighton, which was a phenomenal little place. I mean, it's a population maybe a couple of thousand, maybe 3,000,
Wow.
But it was like about 13 miles outside of Birmingham. But, it was home. It was home, like a lot of great people there. I still have some wonderful friends there that I talk to occasionally, and we support each other, and it's really cool. Went to Winona High School. Go Dragons, go Dragons. And really happy about that. Well, started in the music business early. I was in church, did the church thing with my mom. I ended up playing in a band because in my junior high school, there was my homeroom teacher needed a saxophone player. So he decided that I was the guy. I wanted to play trumpet, but he wouldn't let me play trumpet. He said my lips were too big, so I had to play saxophone. And I said to him, look at yours. Lips and stuff, man. But anyway, I ended up learning how to play saxophone, and left saxophone, then went to high school, and it went really well for me in high school. I ended up at third chair in high school, second chair. Yeah, I ended up winning second chair. But all the time I was involved in music and different little bands and things, And then when I wanted to play in a band, when I was in high school, my mother said, well, you can only play in a band if you make sure that you're in Sunday school every Sunday, and you got to be in the choir.
That's a good trade-off.
And she said, if you can't do that, don't even think about it. So I had to do that. I had to go and play at night, come in there, dragging, but I did it. And she said, you've been not dare fall asleep in there. She was the real deal. She had one of those, she had a boomerang house shoe. So, you had to,
even if you duck, you still gonna get it.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So anyway, yeah. So I ended up getting with the band. I went to Tuskegee for a few years, and then came home to get my real estate license. And while I was there, another band, some friends of mine in the neighboring city in Roosevelt City, asked if I would come join their band. I said, man, I'm not doing the band thing right now. I'm really trying to, finish and do what I have to do. But their uncle, his name was Bill Whitten. He was a designer in Los Angeles, Hollywood, and he was big time. And he was making all the clothes for Earth, Wind, and Fire, and for Michael Jackson and for Bill Cosby, everybody. He was a designer for everybody at that time, Black people. So he managed us and brought us to California. That's how I ended up in California with the band, the Sykes brothers, their uncle. It was Ernest and Don Sykes. So that was a great journey. So when I got there, we were doing pretty good, and everybody goes to Hollywood to become a star. It doesn't happen for everybody. Didn't happen for me. So when the band decided to go back to Birmingham after we had done a little tour and done a few things, but it just wasn't quite clicking the way we wanted to, I decided to stay in California. Because I said, wait a minute, I can't go home. In my mind, it was a kind of a failure. So I said, I can't do that, because I told my mom I was coming out here to make it. I can't go back, I can't do that. So I stayed by myself. And after going through some really hard times, living off, peanut butter and frosted flakes, bologna sandwich and frosted flakes. And I love top ramen. I invested in Top Ramen. I had so many Top Ramen, man. I should own a part of that company, okay? I kept them afloat.
You and my engineers should hold a part of
it.
You
know what I'm saying? I kept them afloat for years, and they don't even think about me. They don't call, they don't write. I don't know what's up, but I'm gonna send them a letter. Anyway, as I moved on, I ended up working odd jobs and doing different things. In the meantime, I was still dabbling in music. I had saxophone. Somebody stole my saxophone, so
Oh, wow.
I went and got a little cheap bass and started teaching myself how to play bass. And then when I got in this apartment complex, they had an old piano down in the rec room. So I went down in there, started playing, teaching myself how to play piano just to keep music going. And I ended up singing with some gospel people and doing some stuff. Andre Crouch had an outreach in Hollywood. So I ended up being a part of that outreach ministry there and getting involved. And then, getting involved in doing worship service with a few of the local churches around. And one thing led to another. And a good friend of mine that I was in one of the Christian bands with told me that there was a position at a company called BMI. And I was like, BM what? So anyway, he said, that was only one thing, so what do they want? What's the deal? He says, well, you got to be able to type 30 words a minute. I said, type 30 words a minute. I said, when is the interview? He says, when you want to do it? I said, look, ask him if can I do it in 2 weeks? Can you give me 2 weeks? And I interview, he says, okay, I'll see what I can do. He called me and said, yes. So what I would do, I would have this job at the Hollywood Sporting Goods. I was the manager of the warehouse. Okay. I was moving up. So when I had this job, I went to the guy and said, hey, look, at nighttime when everybody's gone, would it be okay if I come in here and practice on the typewriter? I don't need to use the typewriter and practice. He said, yeah. So he let me in. So for 2 weeks, every night I would go up and practice on the typewriter in the office. And then when the interview time came, I was ready. And I was ready. I went to the interview and they wanted me to type, and I sat down and I could peck and hunt pretty good. Or hunt and peck, I guess. See, I'm even saying it wrong. It was hunt and peck. Show you how fluent I was. So luckily, all I had to do was type in some contracts or do some labels. And so they said, oh, okay, no problem. So I got the job, and I was in this company called BMI. So wow, this is kind of cool. Well, BMI is the world's largest performing rights organization. At the time, I wasn't really clear. I just know I had a gig. It was the music business. It was in the same building as Motown. We were on the top floor. I was living large. Now, keep in mind that I was assistant to an assistant's assistant. I was just a snap above file clerk.
Okay.
But I thought I had a job.
You're still riding high.
You know what I'm saying? It's all good. So from that, I got involved in BMI, and BMI is a company I'm very proud to have been a part of, because BMI is the reason that Black music is on the radio. Because when BMI got started back in the 40s, there was no Black music on the radio. So they went and beat the bushes and got all this blues music and gospel music and what they call race music at the time. And they made it, set it up so that this music could be heard on the airwaves. And I got to be a part of this company. And I was responsible during my tenure there to signing up a lot of R&B acts and a lot of, our people, and really just had a phenomenal time working with some major artists. So I worked my way up. I read the contracts in the meantime. I learned what was going on, and I worked my way up to be an executive. I think I was probably the first Black executive for BMI.
Wow.
So I was really pleased. There was one other guy, Thomas Kane, was in Nashville. I'm not sure it was first or it was me or him, but I think I edged him out a little bit, I think. But anyway, that being said, after that, I had my tenure there and then had a great run there with a lot of people, did a lot of showcases, worked with a lot of talent. I had, over 90 acts were signed through what I was doing while I was there, doing showcases across the country. So yeah, things were really, really good. I was riding high. Well, after that, I ended up, after my tenure there, I was recruited by Joe Bet Music, Barry Gordy's people, through his son, Kerry, kind of told me about it, and ended up working for Barry Gordy in the publishing company, Stone Diamond, Joe Bet Stone Diamond.
Okay.
And vice president of creative there. And I had a tenure there. That went really, really good. Had a chance to work with some of the greatest catalogs in the world. And very grateful for both these organizations that I work for, just storied corporations. And I was just so blessed to have been a part of them for the time that I was there. Then after my tenure there at Gillette, they decided to sell the company. And when they did that, then I moved on. Okay. My tenure was up there, and I started my own company, give me more entertainment. The whole time I was dabbling in songwriting and production, but I never really did it because I thought it was kind of weird for me to be an executive representing people from a business standpoint, and also trying to come in the studio and write songs with them and produce and stuff. I thought, then, that's not going to work. I didn't feel good about it because I really wanted to give 100% to representing the people that I was involved in.
That's
and not, you know what I mean? I didn't want to be, trying to a lot of double dipping, because that was going on a lot in the business, and I wasn't about that.
Right.
I really wanted to help people with their careers, and I didn't want them to think I was trying to use them to further my career.
Right. And do the Taylor thing. Yeah.
So that after I went through that, after I left, Joe Bet Music set their own company to give me more entertainment. Had some good stuff happening there. Set up a DVD production company early in the DVD phase. I was involved in that. So I've done a little bit of everything on the business side of the arena. And then I ended up surviving prostate cancer. Well, I went through a lot. Okay, let me just keep it real. Let me keep it real. I had a substance abuse problem for a while, because when you come out of the business, you find yourself kind of lonely. And when you writing checks with people, everybody's your friend.
Oh yeah.
But when you ain't writing them checks and stuff, the phone don't ring, and and people treat you a little different and stuff. You don't even get invited to the parties and stuff. And so I started chasing what I shouldn't have been chasing and didn't need to chase, but I didn't know that at the time. So trying to fit in, you get caught. I got caught up.
Yeah.
And so after that, I went through that whole fiasco and realized and came back to my senses. I ended up a few years later then having prostate cancer. I'm like, what is going on? So I had to go through quite a bit to find myself. And the greatest thing I ever learned, and the hardest part, was facing myself.
Wow.
And realizing that no, you're not who you think you are, and you need to come to grips and get yourself straightened out, because you've become someone that is not. Like I told my wife, I apologized for her for putting a stranger in our home for that period of time, and we're still together 38 years. So I'm very grateful to her, because she could have said no, and I'm not doing this. You're out of your mind. You're crazy. But she stuck with me and stuck by me, and I will forever be grateful for her loyalty and faithfulness. So now,
amen.
After that, as I'm sitting there and going through all these things and coming out of this situation, trying to figure out what I'm going to do, I set up a nonprofit organization for at-risk youth, got involved in that, doing a lot of different things. And the music started to come about and stuff, because what happened is so weird. I have glaucoma. Okay, out of all of this, here comes glaucoma. Glaucoma robs your eyesight. So I'm slowly losing my eyesight. I'm thinking, well, I'm not worried, because God's going to give me my eyesight in a minute now. I'm been pretty cool.
Right.
But it didn't happen that way. So as I'm going through this and just trying to figure out what's going on, I really believe that the Lord spoke to me and said that he wanted me to do music. And this was about the music. And he said, literally, well, I shouldn't say, well, okay. I felt that he was saying to me, I need you to do the music, and you put it out there, and don't worry about it. Don't worry about anything else. Write it, put it out there, and I'll take care of the rest. Wow. And I woke up. I remember when it came to me that night in bed, and I sat up. I mean, I jumped up, and my wife said, "You okay? You okay?" I said, "You're not going to believe this. I don't even understand." Now, I had a little small pre-production room in the back of the house, and I got up, and he gave me a song that night. So I got the song. I go into my room. I go into the room. I'm so excited to get ready to do something. I sit down at the piano. I can't play the song. Can't sing it. Can't play it. I'm like, okay, this is just it. Okay, what is going on here? So just to learn that first song took me months just to get through the first song. Right? I'm like, I had to figure out the computer. I have Logic. I have been using GarageBand. I have been dabbling in Logic. A friend of mine came over and worked with me and started teaching me stuff. And I realized that, I thought I could sing. I realized you start singing on the mic, he would laugh at me. He said, man, you got to stay in the right, there are things called keys, right? You have to sing the right key and stuff. But, oh, thanks, bro. I appreciate that. So I had to go through this whole learning process. And now I produce, I write, I play all my stuff. I have a few people come in and stuff. I've become an artist. And it is because of, I believe, the mission that God set me upon and guided me through. And the music that you're hearing is what is coming out of this relationship I have with him, that he asked me to go on this mission and do this music and put it out there, and he would bless it. So that's what's going on with me musically. What I'm about, what the music is all about, what my life is about, is worship, praise, and prayer.
Nice.
But those elements of that keep us close to God, because he requires that we are in relationship. It's all about relationship. It's not about reading the Bible. It's not about being good. It's not about going to church. It's about being in relationship with him, because he wants relationship. And he loves us, and he wants to be loved. And he wants us to understand that. And this is the difference. And that's what I hope my music about, because a lot of my music is about grace. If we just understood the power of grace alone, that you can't do nothing to please God. Well, what can you do for God?
Right, right.
But because of his love for us, grace is unmerited favor, getting something you don't deserve rather than what you do deserve.
Right.
And so I want people to, what I would like to be able to do is to share that belief, that core value of mine, that's what's going on, and help people to see that and to be in relationship with God and to long for that relationship, because that is where true life is found. That is where completeness is found. That is where unspeakable joy is found. Here I am going blind, legally blind, and I'm happier and stronger than I've ever been in my life, because of his love and the relationship I have with him. I have no fear. My friend, I've learned how to not be afraid of the dark, and to walk through life not being afraid of the dark. That goes for everything in my life now. I don't fear that which I cannot control anymore.
Right.
Because of his love and his mercy and his grace and what he's shown me, how he's delivered me from this. He's taken me through this. All of those things, if I hadn't have gone through that, I couldn't be here with you today.
Yeah.
If I hadn't have gone through those things, I wouldn't have been able to have a song that's number 8 on the charts. And with the message that I'm trying to bring in this particular song, because the song, What If? People say, well, why did you call the song What If? I said, why did I call the song What If? Okay. Well, if you were going to talk to somebody that wasn't a believer and you were trying to share your faith, how do you get into a conversation with somebody about the Lord, about God?
Right.
They don't look at you all crazy. So I said, wait a minute, what if you just asked the question, what if? What if Jesus was really who he says he is? What if the Bible is really true? That opens up for conversation. It's not putting anybody on the spot. It's just a general conversation. And they might have a particular thought. To me, that opens up the opportunity to share your faith and share the gospel, because the gospel is really sharing the truth.
Yeah.
That, I believe, is my mission, is to share the gospel. Focused really for me on the power, the beauty, the magnificence of grace.
I love it. Absolutely love it. So we have the song. I'd love for you to allow us to play the song.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, you did. So I want people to hear what we know. So a lot of people haven't heard your song yet. So I'm asking permission to play your song on the air.
Okay.
Okay.
Of course you can.
We're going to play his song, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk a little bit about the inspiration of the song. And want to say this show is sponsored in part by Never Stop Entertainment with Mr. Joe over there. We really love him and appreciate him.
The Dream Maker.
That's right, the Dream Maker.
Yeah.
And so we're going to make that happen. So I am going to share my screen. Oh, Lord, I get scared. Here we go.
Follow the crowd. Sat on the back row. Got myself ready. Thought I was gonna see a show. Someone said to me, glad you made it today. Wait till you hear what he has to say. Christ. Something he said open up my eyes. Can't explain it. Don't know what to say. All I know is my heart changed that day. I told you that he gave his life to set you free. What if I told you that he forgives and loves unconditionally? Would you believe? Could you conceive? What if I told you? What if I told you?
What if I told you you could understand it all? The walking, the running, the tripping, the fall. You won't find forgiveness if you shopping at the mall. Always want to ball, never hear the call. What if I told you how to seek that light? Leave that night and make everything right. Got that sight, that's tight. What if I told you how to fight that fight? Alright.
What if I told you that he gave his life to set you free? What if I told you that he forgives and loves unconditionally? What if I told you that he is the Son of Man? What if I told you that you are a part of his plan?
I absolutely love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
That was nice. That
Wow.
was really, really nice.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wow.
You have that distinguished voice, it's like
Thank you. Thank you very much.
James Earl Jones almost. It's one of those voices that, oh yeah, everybody's gonna listen,
I hope so. From your mouth to God's ears.
I love it. I love it.
Oh,
So
thank
now, so the lyrics are so unique. And so you just got up and started writing it down, or did you add on to it once you got the spirit to write it? How did that happen?
Well, this song was a long process. I worked on this song quite a bit. I wanted to do something really unique and different. And so as I was putting the track together, I was listening to people like Earth, Wind, and Fire. I was listening to the staple singers, guys that were doing inspirational music.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to have a message. And, I'm into funk and groove. I love that groove in the pocket. I like the feel of it. And I wanted to have today's sounds. And as I was writing the track, the inspiration came because the story is about a guy that's walking down the street, and it's reminiscent of a place that a church that I'm familiar with here in Hollywood.
Okay.
But this guy's walking down the street and he sees this crowd of people, and it's like, what's going on? He thinks he doesn't quite sure. So he follows the people inside. He goes inside. He sits down. Now he sits on the back row because he's not sure what's happening. He sees a stage down this low, so he thinks he's going to see a show. And then the usher comes up and she says to him, "Hey, glad you made it today. Wait till you hear what this guy has to say." And he's like, "What?" And then the pastor comes out and he says what he has to say. What if I told you? So this guy has an experience. So something happened to him as he's listening to this guy ask him these questions and talking about Christ and what that could mean to him.
Mm-hmm.
And as he says, something happens, and it took him by surprise because he wasn't expecting this. And next thing he know, his heart had changed. Wow. And he gave himself over to Christ. And that's what the song is about. Oh, and it says that if somebody asks you, what if I told you this, would you believe? And he believed. And that's really what the song is about. It's about an experience where someone, a conversion.
Right.
It's about the average person walking in the door, not knowing what's happening, and meeting the Lord in that place.
Wow. And it gives you chills. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Oh, praise God. Thank you.
I
Thank you. Wow.
absolutely love it. The funny thing, as your video was playing and I'm listening to the songs and the lyrics, we have our podcast studio. It's just amazing how God works. We have now, I want to say we have four podcasters that has joined our network, and the majority of them are faith-based.
Amen.
And so we have like a little drop, like a little 30-second commercial thing that we do for our spiritual network.
Yes.
And I think that song would fit.
Really?
I think that song would fit. So
Oh,
we
wow.
need to talk offline to see what I can do to see if we can get, I don't know, DJ T Nice can tell us if we need 30 seconds or something of that song for my intro for our spiritual network. And that'll be played throughout, all over, everywhere. On
I
all
would,
of our
I
platforms.
would be absolutely honored.
So I mean,
Wow.
it's a good fit. It would be a good fit.
Wow. That's beautiful.
So,
Thank you.
no, thank you. Thank you. It's so inspiring. So with that being said, who inspired you? Who inspired you to keep going with all the stuff that you went through? Your wife was there for you, but outside your immediate support system, who was out there in the world supporting you?
Ooh. What really inspired me I call it I'm gonna call it boot prints. The knocks, the times I had my butt kicked by life, the times that I thought I wasn't gonna survive and make it, when I had cancer, when I was messing around out there, when I survived, and I consider myself a survivor and was on the other side, that inspired me because I realized that it's possible, that grace is real, and God, saved me.
Mm-hmm.
That inspired me, and I said to him that I would give my life. He gave his life for me, and I'm going to give my life for him. What can I do?
Right.
And this is what I'm doing. So he inspires me. The Spirit. I've written so much music in the last several years that it blows my mind. I'm like, this is when I say it's crazy, people say, you shouldn't say that. I know, but it is. And the songs just keep coming as his presence is. I wrote a few songs back called In This Place, because no matter where you are, he is. And so I have been guided by him, by the Spirit of God in this. And he inspires me. I pray, I spend time with him. When I'm writing songs, he's on my mind, he's there. And so that is really what carries me. My faith is probably my best inspiration. The word of God inspires me. Other people that sing, that serve God, inspire me. We used to have a Bible study in our home where we had 30, 40 people coming to our house for a Bible study. We started out as a house of prayer. So our house is dedicated to serving God, and we have a small group that we since COVID has been a little crazy, we haven't met as much, but these people I'm dedicated to. So there are tons of people that inspire me. When I have conversations with people, my wife and I do counseling for young married couples, some older couples too. But when we sit and talk to those couples about marriage and about life, because we believe in family, and we want young couples to realize how important it is to be married, to stay married, and what it takes to be married. Because a lot of times people don't really understand what that's about. And we wholeheartedly want people to pour into their family, because without a strong family, the fabric of a country falls apart. We have no society without strong families.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to start to realize that and look at that and put some energy and effort into that. And we just want to encourage people there. On the other side of that, people's life stories. I had a friend of mine that was very close to me, and he was struggling. He was struggling with a bipolar illness, right? And we'd be on the phone, and some days he'd be great. And we talked. As a matter of fact, he was the guy that came and really helped me learn the program Logic. And he come on and spend time. He was a phenomenal guitar player and producer and writer himself, award-winning. And he come, we talk for a few days, and then he started going through this thing. He just changed. He became this person. He was fighting this illness. And then, I think about it now. Sorry.
Oh, no.
He called me. And he was saying, man, he was talking about committing suicide. And I said, you doing what? And I talked him down a couple of times because I thought, well, he's just kind of excited. He's going through this thing. And then one time he called me and he was saying, hey, he was riding around. He had gone up to Northern California. And he says, man, I'm just looking for a place. I say, well, you're going to move? He says, no, I'm just looking for a place. Well, he committed suicide with it.
Oh, wow.
I talked to him one day the next day, and we were just talking about the beach, and he was feeling better. And it blew my mind because I just couldn't understand it. And I knew that there were things inside of us, things that can take us over and destroy us that we're not in control of.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided I'm going to dedicate myself to telling as many people about the healing power of Jesus Christ, that they don't have to go through what they're going through. If they hold on to God's unchanging hand, that there's a way out. There's a way out.
Yes.
They can beat this. They can overcome. I've overcome, goodness gracious. I mean, like I said, so many things. So I'm not talking to people about something I heard about.
Right.
I'm talking about stuff I have lived and I still live. And I'm telling you, it's real. And I want to help people to live a better life, to have a full and complete life, full of joy, not just happiness. Happiness, you can get a hamburger and be happy.
Right.
Joy is that feeling. It's kind of like your soul being tickled.
Yeah.
As best I can explain. And joy is there no matter what. And so I really want to help people to step into that place, to realize that it's real. And it's joy beyond understanding. You can't really understand it. And if I could help somebody to step into that part of life, because the world is messed up out there. It's crazy, as we know. It's nuts.
Yeah.
But we don't have to
Right.
buy into that. We don't have to buy into that. By loving our families, by being in tune with the people that are the most important to us, by sharing love and understanding forgiveness. Because if we can learn how to forgive first ourselves, if we can learn how to forgive ourselves, then we can forgive others. And all of a sudden things start to change because you can love people. Keep in mind, the Bible never says that you have to like somebody.
Right.
That was the most freeing thing I ever discovered. I didn't have to like people.
Right.
Because I could love them. But what is love? God's love is an action. It's being kind. It's being considerate. It's being thoughtful. It's completely different from what the world thinks. And when we really understand and step into grace, everything changes because we're not so fearful. We're not so upset about stuff that doesn't really matter, that doesn't affect us, that we decide that it's important to us, but it's really not. And I just want to help people to let go of those preconceived notions and ideas that lead to nowhere, nothing but pain and hurt.
Right. Well, with that being said, I normally ask for some words of wisdom. You've given us a whole bunch.
I'm sorry. You should have told me.
No. I'm enjoying it. I'm actually enjoying it. So with that being said, so words of wisdom to someone, what words can you give them who may be going through some things right now, financially, relationship wise, that really, really need to be talked off that ledge, Yeah. So what type of words of wisdom would you give that person right now?
Sometimes it's not necessary to believe what you see, because your eyes can deceive you. Even your heart can deceive you. Things are not sometimes what they seem to be. There is a way out. There is a way to change. I would say, seek first the kingdom of God, and everything else will be added unto you. And to trust God. Trust is a big deal. Sometimes we want to treat God like Santa Claus, but he's not Santa Claus. He wants to be in the relationship. If we can develop that trust, things will look a lot different. If we learn how to trust ourselves, and then learn how to trust him. He will come through. It might not be the way you would like it to be, but he is faithful and he comes through and he's there for you. If you're hurting, you're going through something, reach out, talk to someone, find someone to pray with, someone to understand and spend that time with, and really focus on the good in life and not the bad.
Yeah, I like that.
And I say to you right now, it's never too late, because even when they told me that with my vision, it wasn't going to get better, and I had to accept that. The hardest thing for me when I found I had this was to give up my car. I had a car, a BMW 750, loved it.
Oh, I love BMWs.
You know what I'm saying? I said 750. They told me, they said, you can't drive no more. I said, are you nuts? But I had to give that car up. And I realized, I'm never going to be the same again. What am I going to do? Well, once I gave the car up, which I could not watch them take the car away. I had to stay in the house. I couldn't do that. So, honey, just
I would be that way too.
that's my baby. And I said to myself, don't ever fall in love with a car. And that's what I did. And they had to take my baby. But that's okay. I love them. They took it. But what I realized then, I said, well, what am I going to do? I said, oh, I know what. I'm going to tell myself I live in New York, because in New York, you don't need a car.
Yeah, that's true.
So I changed my perspective. If you can change your perspective, you can change your life.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. And, I find that when I do travel, because, I've been from state to state with my employment.
Yes.
And to fit in with that state that you're in, everyone's different. Every state is different. And actually, I went to California a couple of years ago, right before COVID. And I loved it. And I thought that was where I wanted to go next, Yeah. And so, but the art of traveling, I felt like when I got here to Virginia, so I'm on the East Coast, I'm in Virginia Beach, and I'm 3 blocks from the beach.
Oh, must be nice.
Oh my gosh, it is. But check this out. I don't get to go that often because I'm so busy working my full-time job, doing my podcast studio, doing my podcast show, writing. And it dawned on me, what did I stay here for? I like being near the water. So why be near the water and not go? So that's my new turn. That's my new turn right there. God blessed me with everything I wanted. Now I have it and I'm not utilizing it. So what's my problem? I need to be obedient and do what I ask for. Be careful what you ask for, because he will give it to you.
Yes.
So here I am.
Yes. That's a beautiful thing you're saying, because what goes along with that, and I talk to people about, it's called gratefulness. And when God blesses us, we have to learn to be grateful, because if you can't be grateful, you cannot be happy.
That's right. That's right. And I'm grateful, and I know I am.
I know.
And so,
I hear.
But you have support over here on the East Coast.
Yes. Woo-hoo.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
My wife, I'm telling you what, we got somebody, we can go to Virginia Beach and hang out now.
That's right. You and your wife just come on down.
I'm gonna tell her she's got a condo there and she's not even using it. She's too busy. So we need to just go and pack up.
Yeah, I'll be at the studio. So yeah, y'all can have the apartment.
So we gonna move in. We got it covered for you. We're gonna enjoy that beach for you.
Well, I really, really enjoyed this interview. I want to have you back. I want to support and be a part of what you're doing. And most definitely want to talk to you about at least 30 seconds of the song. I don't know, DJ T Nice can chime in and say what we need, but I think that would be a great fit for our new spiritual network intro. I think that would be great. And so, I would be honored to be a part of what you're doing and to be a part of your journey. Absolutely. Oh, wow. We can do it. We can make it happen. That's what we do. That's what we do. Ask Joe. Joe took me under his wings and here we are, Wow. So yeah, it's possible. Yeah, absolutely. He's the man. So I want to say thank you and good night to everyone who's tuned in. I want to say thank you, DJ T Nice. He's always there for me. And my new friend, Marvin Dexter Moore, hit record number 8 on the charts. We love you. We're gonna support you, and we're gonna make it all the way all the way up to number 1. All right.
Thank you. You're
All right,
amazing. I
guys.
really appreciate it. God bless you.
You too. Okay, guys. Until next week, SKST Radio, Street Grind Entertainment. We love you.